Today is Monday, January 9th, 2023, back for another daily review. And tonight I'm going to do a quick recap going over why I think the DR did not work today. As you can see on all of our index futures, we had a confirmed break of the high, suggesting that this low would not be violated. And sure enough, what ended up happening was the price consolidated predominantly during the lunch hour and then saw a reversal down to the lows, making new lows. And this happened on all of NASDAQ. You can see on the Dow had quite the sell-off, and then also we had it on S&P. So let's get started. So first and foremost, if we go to the 4-hour chart, we can see that I was expecting upside at the time of the forecast yesterday. I had marked out this candle's low, this H4 candle's low right here. We had our eyes on these equal highs. And sure enough, in London, price wicked below. Instead of this candle's low, it just wicked below this candle's low into this gap. And then in New York Open, it shot up well above these highs. And it was looking very, very strong with this close. And then that was when we had our DR high confirmation. And then since that point, just sold off. So what happened today? And what did I do? Well, let's go to the ES. I took a little scalp here, which was not intended to be a scalp. This was before the DR even formed. I'm not really going to break down this trade just because I don't know how interesting it is to everyone, but there was this gap, there was divergence here, and shortly after the open, I was pretty bullish on everything, so I took it, but it wasn't what I was looking to long NASDAQ, and I got a little cold feet to hold it. It should have been held for about 3 to 4R, but I closed it prematurely, which was a mistake, probably just because I wanted to it was just reacted so fast, and I moved to break even, but then I saw it coming down a little bit and then went back up, and I just was like, let's just get the first win of the week out of the way. And, I don't know why I did that, but price continued well higher. And then what happened was we had, like I said, the DR confirmation. I was looking at NASDAQ for longs because it was the strongest of the three. And we had this 15-minute fair value gap. And, very clean scenario one, you can say, wow, how did this not work? You have a 1-hour gap. You have a 15-minute gap. You have it going through the level. You have just a lot of reasons to expect this to work. And I took this trade at the 62% fib, which was right here. And in this imbalance off of this high as well. And then price obviously took my stop loss. And I was fine with that trade at first. And then I remembered, you know what? There's a level that I was ignoring, which I mentioned in my forecast yesterday, which was this weekly volume imbalance. And I was blinded by the fact that we had been moving higher and it looked so aggressive, and I was zoomed in too far. And I saw this as a scenario one, which it was, but I didn't even stop to consider that maybe this is a scenario 4. And what's a scenario 4? It is a break and reclaim of the DR level after hitting a higher time frame point of interest. So we have that volume imbalance on the weekly. We have this rejection block here, the daily chart. On all time frames, this is a point of interest that is worth paying attention to. And I'd like to think that if I had zoomed out again, I would have considered waiting for a better confirmation. So I saw price bounce here, and then it failed. So, it was a scenario one. It was a valid scenario one. But even if you take a scenario one and you lose, you get some information. And because NASDAQ was stronger than S&P, I went back to the S&P and I was looking at the same thing here. And it's even cleaner here. You can see on the S&P, price rallies up. We have this daily level. This breaker order block took the liquidity here. Oops, sorry. You can see this candle took the liquidity here. We had a solid breakdown with this gap. Price is coming up and testing it now. If you go to the 3-day chart, you can see it more cleanly as this up close candle again that took this high and this high and had a sharp move lower, leaving this gap. So in the first test back, it's not surprising that we see a reaction. And so after I got taken out of that scenario 1 NASDAQ long, I was like, okay, well, what do we have here? We have the same kind of thing happening here. Off of the higher time frame level, we have a break and reclaim with this strong displacement through this swing low right here. And right at about here, I think is where I was. I saw this candle close and I saw we were still hanging around here. So I took a short right around this level and I had my eye on for 2R, which was below of the day price level right here. And that was basically my target, 2R. Now, because I had taken that loss earlier and because I'm in this sudden streak of closing trades too early, really since I've started my YouTube channel, or since I've gotten a lot of people watching my YouTube channel, I've been closing my trades earlier than I've planned. Not that I didn't do that before, but I've just noticed recently that I've been doing it a bit more than I'd like. And I closed it at 1.5. So today I had a 1.3 on S&P here. I had a -1 on NASDAQ on scenario 1, and then a 1.5 gain at the end of the day. So I wanted to just get that loss out of my head, I guess. And, again, just thinking too much about my P&L and about my win rate and all that stuff. So not great. And then, so, at least, again, the good news was being able to identify this as a scenario 4 when I did. So I was able to at least capture a profitable move in the afternoon session. The bad news is I didn't really see it early enough. And if I had seen it early enough, I don't think I would have taken that scenario 1 long on NASDAQ, or I would have looked for more confirmation like an SMT divergence, which I did not see an SMT divergence at the time of the entry on NASDAQ. So that's what happened for me today. And even though I had the weekly volume imbalance there and the price had hit it, I wasn't really in the mindset of thinking of a scenario 4, even though it totally fits the criteria. So again, every time we have a break, take a look at what's going on the higher time frame. And as a last minute check, I would say I'm going to generally favor it being a scenario 1 or scenario 3 and look for that continuation. But always just take that check and just look at the higher time frame one more time and make sure that there isn't a compelling argument for a scenario 4, just to be aware of what you might be going into. So that's it for me today. Hope everyone did well and is off to a good start to the week. And I will be back with another recap soon. Take care.